Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? I hope you're having an awesome day. Mine is going pretty well, can't complain. I wanted to talk a little bit about adopting a dog. I have almost always got my dogs from the pound or the animal shelter. Almost every dog I've ever had. I've only had 2 dogs that I could think of that did not come from an animal shelter. Um, Most of them have worked out pretty well, thank goodness. They've had issues, of course, when you first get a dog. There's bad habits you got to break, and a lot of the times you have to house break them and teach them manners and etc. But the problem you run into when you get a dog from a pound, the biggest thing is you don't know their background. You don't know how they've been treated in the past. You don't know if they've been abused in the past, neglected, if they have some type of anxieties because of the way they've been treated in the past. You don't know their health problems. You know, it's just a huge gamble. And this is the first time I've ever gotten a dog from a pound that has had this many issues. She had heartworms when I got her. I was told don't exercise her, don't let her get excited, keep her calm for like 3 months. So that was hard enough in itself, just keeping this dog calm, because she's very active, which is awesome. I love it. You know, that's the reason why I got her. I wanted to take her hiking, walking, jogging, biking, do all the things that I love to do and have somebody to do it with. But the heartworms really threw a monkey wrench into all of that. So since day one, I haven't been able to do any of the things I love to do. I even got rid of my bicycle because it's been over 6 months since I've been able to ride my bike. Well, it didn't take long after I brought her home to figure out that she has anxiety issues. She is afraid of everything. I don't think she's ever been in a house before. She was afraid of the ceiling fan when I brought her in the house. She didn't even want to climb the stairs. I had to pick her up to get her in the house. And she was very skittish indoors. She probably stayed outside her whole life. And I think she was abused, because right after I got her, I was doing something on the back of my trailer. I was getting something out of my headache rack, and I had her tied to the side of the trailer. I got down off of the headache rack, and I think I had some bungees in my hand or something, and I started to walk towards her, and she cowers down like I was gonna beat her. She was afraid I was gonna beat her. So, you know, it took a while for the dog to even trust me, and she still won't roll over and let me rub her belly. Well, I can't say never. I mean, it took months for her to finally roll over and let me rub her belly, and she only usually does that early in the morning when she's first waking up. She will not do it any other time. It took her probably 4 months before she would lick me on the face. You know, most dogs, that's just a friendly dog will come up and lick you on the face. That's just natural for them. It took her 4 months before she would do that. She did not trust me at all. She's just gotten to where she feels at home around me. She's very friendly now. She's very affectionate. She is just awesome. But she has, like I said, she has anxieties. I know she's afraid to ride in the truck. And it's not just, you know, I talked about her being destructive. It's not just because she doesn't get enough exercise, which I'll talk about in a minute. But she's afraid to ride in my car. Like, I almost wrecked my car because she climbed into my lap while I was driving. She's terrified. She doesn't want to ride in the car. She's afraid to ride in the truck. The whole time I'm driving the truck, she's like running around in circles, bouncing off the walls. If she's staying still for a few seconds, usually it's because she's tearing something up. She's very destructive. She's just like, her anxiety level's through the roof. Now, one of the reasons why she doesn't get enough exercise, I would love to take her walking and jogging, and I've always wanted to teach her to run beside my bicycle, but she's antisocial. I guess she was never socialized properly. My guess is she was in a pen or on a chain or something in somebody's backyard. So whenever she sees people, she wants to go after them. She immediately thinks they're a threat. She has already grabbed 2 people by the pant leg, and she nipped another guy in the butt. Luckily, she hasn't hurt anybody. Thank God. But it is out of hand. She's fearful and aggressive, so I can't take her out and about around other people and get her the exercise she needs, because I'm terrified she's going to bite somebody, they're going to sue me, they're going to put her down. What do you do? What do you do with a dog like this? Now, another thing that makes her so impossible for me to train, I've never had problems training any other dogs. I've always been able to train my dogs. I use treats to train my dogs. I always have. Can't do that with her. She's very, very picky. I haven't found a treat she likes, except for 2. And then, like, one day she'll like the treat. The next day I'll give it to her. She literally spits it out on the floor. She don't want it. So that's how picky she is. So because there's not anything that really gets her motivated to listen to me, I've had a very hard time training her. She's very stubborn. She's very smart. Oh, she is very smart. But she's very stubborn, and she's not food motivated. What do you do with, I've never had a dog like that before. What do you do with that? Very frustrated. So I love my dog to death, but if I would have gotten her, look at her, isn't she sweet? If I would have gotten her from a breeder, or some place where I at least knew her background, how she had been treated, how she had been raised, if I knew about her health problems and her anxiety issues and her antisocial behavior, I would have known she was not the right dog for me. But it's, like I said, it's a gamble you take when you adopt a dog from a pound. Luckily, all my gambles in the past have paid off. I've ended up with some really great dogs, and don't get me wrong, she's an awesome dog. I just don't know what to do with her. I'm not a professional trainer. But everybody talks all the time about how great it is to adopt, and I totally agree. It is awesome if you have the time and the means necessary to deal with a dog that ends up being problematic. If you do end up in that situation, it's awesome. Especially if you can save a dog that you know someone else doesn't want to deal with. That's really awesome. But it's not always the best idea for everyone. Sometimes you're better off, in my opinion, to go get a dog where you know where they come from and you know their background. So just something to keep in mind next time you take a trip to the animal shelter.